Thank you all for tuning in to this newest edition of the Eric Avasar Show, where I will now talk about the day that was in the English Premier League transfer window, the deadline day. It is shut and closed. It is time for teams now to focus exclusively on football, and I will walk you through and give you my take on all the signings that took place on the final day of the deadline window for the Premier League. Now, the big headline-making deal of the day: David Luiz, Sideshow Bob, whatever you want to call him, the Brazil international, has returned to Chelsea. It is a homecoming after leaving the Blues in 2014 for Paris Saint-Germain. He has returned, making him the most expensive defender in the history of football. His transfer fees have now exceeded 100 million euros. Now, I've never thought of him that highly as a defender. Obviously, a great attacking player, brings a lot to set pieces, a lot of flair, a lot of style, certainly brings a lot of hair. It should be very interesting to see how he fits back into the Chelsea side. Now, the big controversial deal of the day, you could say, or maybe perhaps the most eyebrows raised at a lack of loyalty, if you will. Not that loyalty exists in football anymore with all the money being splashed around. It wasn't the money that spoke this time necessarily, so much as the prestige of the club, and in this case, Champions League football won out for Moussa Sissoko. We're talking about arguably Newcastle's best player, at least one who is still on the books as of yesterday. Sissoko was looked to be all ready and set to be on his way to Everton. Rumor had it that they had the medical room all ready for him to go to get his medical completed, but in the 11th hour, in the very last minute practically, Tottenham hijacked the deal, matching Everton's 30 million euro offer, snapping up the French midfielder. Now, I think Sissoko is highly overrated at that price. I think he was probably not even worth 20 million euros before the Euro, but he looked at his situation most likely at Newcastle, thought, I am way too good to be playing for a championship side. Do not want to be playing in the second division, so I'm going to ball out, play my very best the Euro. That's exactly what he did, and his value skyrocketed. I think you can honestly make the case that he played so well that his value went up 10 million euros because of how he played over the summer. So we shall see if he's going to make that big of an impact at a Tottenham team with plenty of talented players in the midfield. So meanwhile, Hal Robson-Kanu, talk about another Euro hero. That Cruyff term he pulled off against Belgium to give Wales a historic Euro victory, beating 3 defenders. That's going to go down in Welsh football lore. Just a spectacular goal he scored. He also scored against Slovakia for Wales, and as that was a man who played with a point to prove over the summer, just like Sissoko. He was out of contract at Reading, second division club, and what did he do? He earned himself a Premier League contract on the very last day of the transfer window. He has joined on a free, obviously, having been out of contract. It should be very interesting to see how he performs, and very happy to see him back in the Premier League. Now, Jack Wilshere, a lad who has fallen on hard times, certainly, after pretty much missing the entire Premier League season last year. He didn't have the best go of it for England in the Euro, but then again, who did? He's probably, had that talk with Arsene Wenger where he said, "Look, you're not playing well. You are hurt. You need to regain confidence. Go to loan." And Wilshere, it's been a hard time for him, like I said. Injuries, been dropped by Sam Allardyce from the English national team, and rightfully so. Bournemouth could be the way to resurrect his career. It seems like a move that's good for both sides, but time will tell. But for me, the transfer day deal that tickled my fancy the most, that I am most interested by, and could prove to be the biggest story of deadline day down the road, is the signing that the Leicester City Foxes made. I had been critical of their transfer activity. I did not necessarily see that big name signing. This is not necessarily a huge name, but it's one that true football fans will know. Islam Slimani. We are talking about a terrific player in the prime of his career at 28 years old, coming in from Sporting Lisbon, where he scored 48 goals in 92 games. And we're talking about the same guy who just pretty much carried Algeria practically. Maybe not carried, but certainly the most integral player on that team that reached the knockout stage of the 2014 World Cup with his phenomenal pace, playmaking ability, goal scoring. He is a truly complete forward. And, Shinji Okazaki played a massive role in the Foxes' championship run last season in the Premier League. Don't get me wrong, but he left plenty to be desired in the goal-scoring category. That is not going to be a problem with Slimani. If I'm Okazaki, I'm very worried about my starting place because, Leicester paid a fee believed to be around 28 million euros for the Algerian. You don't spend that kind of money when you're Leicester City for a guy to come off the bench. So I'm very, very interested to see how Islam Slimani partners with Jamie Vardy up top. Now, interesting deal that's not a transfer, but perhaps one of the more high-profile loan deals. Enner Valencia, the West Ham man who has had some good run of play on the international level. He has temporarily left West Ham to join Everton on a season-long loan. That should be an intriguing move for him going over the Toffees. I do think he will succeed and get plenty of playing time this season. He has shown that he can get it done in the Premier League. Meanwhile, someone who had a good Premier League career at Liverpool, Alvaro Arbeloa, did not quite have the same success individually, you might say, at Real Madrid. He certainly has been riding the pine for as more than a fortnight at Real Madrid. He left after his contract expired last season, and now he will join West Ham United on a one-year deal. So it should be interesting to see if he still has something left in the tank. The man who has plenty of experience, World Cup winner, but in the twilight of his career. Speaking of people who might be reaching the twilight of their career, but not because of age, but because of attitude, Mario Balotelli has left, and I mean left Liverpool for good. Over, done with, bye. See you later, sayonara. More like see you never. He has left the Reds on a free transfer. Liverpool got nothing for him, and perhaps that's a good deal for Liverpool. I saw Jamie Carragher tweet, Nice, the French club, got a nice deal. Well, guess what, Nice? According to Jamie Carragher, you paid over the odds for Mario Balotelli about paying nothing. Oh, man. Well, this is certainly Balotelli's last chance to resurrect such a promising career. It's hard to believe that this is where he finds himself after such an incredible start to his footballing career, partnering with Zlatan Ibrahimovic at Inter Milan. But, his attitude, his work ethic have just been abysmal, putting it nicely. So this is his last shot. He's probably done with Champions League football forever, but who knows what the future holds. Now, Markus Henriksen has joined Hull City on a season-long loan from AZ Alkmaar. Matt Miazga, the sizable, strong physical specimen of a defender who is an American, a Yank, who joined Chelsea, kind of a head-scratching move because you knew it was always a long road for him to break into the blue side. Well, that is going to have to wait at least a year, his shot to break into the side. He has gone to Vitesse on a season-long loan. So we shall see how he plays still on the European continent. Joel Castro Pereira, the Manchester United man, has joined Belenenses, the Portuguese side, on a season-long loan. And Dieumerci Mbokani has left Dynamo Kiev to Hull City on a loan. So the Tigers, starting the season off with a hot 6 points, fizzled out a little bit with that 1-0 loss at home to Manchester United. But, still, they got some interesting business done on deadline day. Joselu, who, seemed like a very, very promising, young, talented player early in his career, has continued to kind of fall down the ladder, if you will, going from Stoke City to Deportivo La Coruna on a season-long loan. Meanwhile, James Ware, the Manchester United outcast, has joined Hull City on a 3-year contract. And Lazar Markovic, bought in excess of 20 million euros by Brendan Rodgers, the transfer committee. Who knows? Somebody at Liverpool made another big mistake that summer after coming so close to winning the league. Not just Mario Balotelli was the only bad signing. Markovic was a bad signing too. Talented player, young player. You had high hopes for him, as I did. I really do feel like he's just not cut out physically for life in the Premiership. So he will join Sporting Lisbon on a season-long loan. It's hard to see his way back to Anfield, but who knows what the future holds. Jason Denayer, Manchester City. The light blue man has left to stay or to go out on loan to Sunderland for the full season. Meanwhile, Dominique Calvert-Lewin has gone from Sheffield United to Everton on a 4-year deal. Pau Lopez has gone from Espanyol Barcelona to Tottenham on a season-long loan. That is a team with a very deep squad right there. Juan Cuadrado. What a confusing story. You always wondered why Chelsea signed him in the first place. I mean, such a talented player, a top player. The Colombian truly is. So pacey, so skilled, can score goals, has the end product. But how is he going to break into the Chelsea side? He hasn't. Big whoop. Big surprise, right? Not at all. He has gone from, after having a successful spell at Juventus, back to Juventus. But did they sign him? No, they didn't, because they got a 3-year-long loan. Well, how does that work? Well, it's a complicated deal. There are incentives involved in this deal that could essentially force Juventus to buy the player. Obviously, there's an option to buy with a loan of that length. But, I mean, of course, from a simple footballing fan's brain, you're just saying, just buy the player. But, things are never that easy when it comes to the business of football. Georgia's Kevin Nkudu, not quite sure I pronounced that correctly. He has gone from Marseille to Tottenham in an €11 million deal. So the Spurs still splashing the cash big on deadline day, and not just with Sissoko. Alan Nyom has gone from Watford to West Brom for a €3 million fee. That is a 4-year deal. Speaking of Liverpool players who are going to have a very difficult time resurrecting their careers at Anfield, yet another loan, a seemingly infinite list of loans for the young lad Andre Wisdom, who you wonder if he's just ever going to be fast enough to make it in the Premier League. Certainly a big boy. He has gone to Red Bull Salzburg on a season-long loan. The biggest loan move of the day, you could say, was Joe Hart. I mean, Pep Guardiola made it pretty clear right away that he did not rate Joe Hart, just could not tolerate him. You could kind of tell how Joe Hart felt about Pep when he kicked in a wall after he found out he wasn't starting in the Premier League. And during one preseason match, he just kept booting every ball. Every ball that came in, just blasted it. That's not going to win the manager's approval. He has left Manchester City on a loan, probably just because they couldn't sell him on such short notice, to Torino, where he will certainly get plenty of first-team football and have the proper opportunity to retain his place, or I should say, keep his place, if you will, as England's #1 shot stopper. Now, Samir Nasri, maybe he's the more high-profile loan. It's a matter of, how do you feel about the big names? Both two big names, Hart and Nasri. Nasri has left Manchester City to join Sevilla. I'm sure Pep Guardiola did not think highly of Nasri's love for cocaine and strippers. So, the Frenchman, who has been a bit of a head case virtually his whole career, but obviously immensely talented, some would say, even a world-class talent, he has gone to Sevilla. And, Sevilla is not like a club where you can go out and enjoy vacation. So I do think that Nasri is going to struggle there. More than likely, his Manchester City career is over too. So, another guy who, I'm sure plenty of English football fans will be monitoring from afar. Another big-time loan move, and one that I'm very happy to see, because this man is way too good not to be playing first-team football on a regular basis. Wilfried Bony, who I like to call Willy Boners, is going to be giving Stoke City fans the willies. And he has joined from Manchester City on a season-long loan deal. I'm not sure if there's an option to buy. I would like to hope there is. Boney is just so good in the air. He can obviously finish with his feet. He was just a terrific player at Swansea City. A joy to watch. You just knew, of course, that he left for Manchester City for the money, perhaps. He's had an attack of conscience, does not want to waste away his career. And now he has joined Stoke City on the season-long loan. That's going to be a very, very exciting move for the Potters at the Britannia Stadium. Luis Alberto, who never really showed he had what it took